Warning: the content in this video may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. You know, we love watching criminals get what they deserve. From Jodi Arias to Casey Anthony and even O.J. Simpson. We watch these things like they're primetime television. We see their smugness turn to fear and eventually remorse as they have their sentences read to them. We feel a sense of justice and validation, especially when the reaction is drastic. Here at Top 10 Archive, we put together a list of 10 convicts who freaked out the most at life sentences. Now, before we get started, why not hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wind up liking this video, please let us know. And finally, do you believe justice was served in these cases? Let us know in the comment section below.
Number 10. Dustin Armstrong. This young man beat a 2-year-old to the point of a broken jaw and brain damage by slamming the boy against a wall. The boy survived, but will likely suffer damages for the rest of his life. Seeing through the tears of remorse, the judge handed down a sentence of 50 years without hesitation. The man wept heavily while the mother of the child read him a scathing letter, adding to the already harsh news he was hearing. She reads to him that she can't recognize the person he became and that he caused her the most pain she's ever known. The judge said he'd have plenty of time to think about what he did to the defenseless child. Number 9. Leon Montgomery. Some of these convicts don't just sob at their fate, they get angry. Leon Montgomery abused his girlfriend's baby in March of 2016. During the beating, Montgomery fractured the boy's skull, broke 13 of his ribs, and in the end, killed him. Before his sentence was read, he burst out with expletive language. His outburst cost him an additional 6 months added to his sentence. He was also denied a new trial because of his lack of remorse and respect. Number 8. Reyes. The only reason Reyes didn't receive a life sentence was that he was a minor. As he's being walked out after being given his sentence, you can see he's not quite stable. Was it his crime? Well, nothing to pity him for, that's for sure. He had robbed, beat, and sexually assaulted an elderly woman. Apparently angry at having been caught and having to do his time, he walks out with the officer escorting him and is seen pulling away roughly. After the door closes, we hear his mother wail in the background as Reyes continues shouting. The fact that we can't quite see what's happening behind the door makes it all the more interesting. Number 7. Reilly, Ohio Hamilton County Court. Our next case is hard because you want to feel sorry for the guy, Jaleel Smith Reilly. When given his life sentence, you can see his hope fade away. His eyes roll back, and he falls to the ground. He's in disbelief. According to the prosecutors, Smith Reilly shot and killed his ex-girlfriend and her new partner. He's said to have approached their car, asked the man to step out of the car, and then shot them both. He both wanted to plead not guilty and expressed his genuine remorse at the brutal murder. When the judge denied his request and handed down a sentence of life without the possibility of parole, Smith Reilly didn't take it well. Number 6. T.J. Lane. Nothing makes people more angry than when a criminal they deem deserving of a life sentence comes back at them with a big middle finger. This is exactly what Cleveland killer T.J. Lane did after killing several kids and wounding others at a high school cafeteria in 2012. T.J. didn't start the court date well, branding a shirt that read "Killer" across the chest, then uttered some words that definitely aren't family appropriate. Spoiler alert, someone will probably post them in the comment section. His reasons for murdering the teenagers is unknown, despite the fact that his defense brought up his rough upbringing and expressed their apologies for the family's suffering. However, his behavior inspired anything but mercy or relief to the families. Lane pled guilty and was sentenced to 3 life sentences without parole. Number 5. Shoemaker. Dylan was just 16 years old at the time. and the victim was just 2. It was the son of his then-girlfriend who did nothing but cry, like any child does, which somehow irritated the teenager into a murderous state. Shoemaker took the boy, shook him, and beat him to death. In the video, he's seen crying and pleading, saying he didn't mean to hurt the boy. He seems to be facing the toddler's mother, who's visibly affected, and asks her if she thinks he really meant to do it. His defense attorney cites inexperience with babysitting and lack of control of his anger for his actions, which he says he regrets. Number 4, Jacob Morgan. When Jacob stood in front of a judge after killing an 18-month-old, he had no idea what to expect until the charges were officially read off. Not just any baby either. It was his baby brother. He received 5 years for the manslaughter charge, 10 for unlawful conduct, and 15 for the arson. Morgan took an Alford plea for the arson, accepting the punishment without saying he's actually guilty. However, it stated that the fire was started from the baby's blanket while he slept, suspiciously while Morgan babysat. The family stood by him as he gasped for breath in shock from the sentence he had received. Number 3, Diana Lovejoy. Lovejoy and her gun instructor colluded to kill her husband and were found guilty of attempted murder. They were both sentenced to time in prison, Lovejoy 15 years to life and McDavid 50 years to life. When hearing the sentence, Lovejoy breaks off into a trance-like state. She stares into space and slowly starts to pass out with her eyes open. The married couple had been going through rough times, a hard custody battle, and normal divorce struggles. Number 2, prison or death. Jason Binkowitz was not sentenced to life in prison, but reacted as if he had. During his sentencing, he looks calm and collected. He was facing 13 years in prison for attempted murder and felony assault after shooting a man in the face. He heard the sentence in an Ohio courthouse and then ran and jumped from the 3rd story. Though the paramedics were called, he did not survive the jump and was pronounced dead shortly after. It's hard to say whether Jason was deeply remorseful for his gruesome crimes or was just not looking forward to over a decade in prison. Number 1, Michael Maron. The entire fall of Maron is on camera as he was a public figure. Michael Maron, a millionaire Yale graduate, was facing a sentence for arson. He allegedly set his 10,000-square-foot home on fire after he couldn't pay the almost $20,000 per month mortgage. In an attempt to sell the house, he attempted to sell $25 raffle tickets for charity before getting shut down. The following day, he alerted authorities that the mansion was on fire while he was climbing out of a 2nd-story window with scuba gear on. Facing possibly decades, which could have been the rest of his life, Maron decided to commit suicide instead by taking a lethal dose of cyanide. Thanks for watching. Do you think these people got the sentences they deserved? What would have been your judgment? Let us know in the comments. Please subscribe, click the bell, and give the video a thumbs up.